It's launched. Yay!
Yay! It's my turn now.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. To all the chai enthusiasts and the literary aficionados, welcome to Steeped, Adventures of a Tea Entrepreneur. This evening, we are privileged to embark on a literary and sensory journey with the visionary founder and CEO of Bti Inc., Brook Eddy, celebrating her recent book that unfolds a tale that weaves together threads of passion, culture, innovation, all steeped in the essence of a transformative cup of chai. Just a couple of weeks back, we at Avid Learning, we curated a very interesting workshop at the Kalagura Arts Festival called The Art of Tea, showcasing how selection of tea leaves, some patience, the right timing, all you need for a perfect cup of brew. So I plan to confirm this with Brook during our conversation this evening. So let's immerse ourselves in the warmth of the conversation, much like a comforting embrace of a well-brewed cup of Bti Chai. Get ready to be inspired, entertained, and perhaps discover the perfect recipe for your own entrepreneurial journey. Congratulations, Brook.
Thank you.
So I'm going to begin with the same quote you've used in your book, perfect for capturing its essence. A woman is like a tea bag. You never know how strong it is until it's in hot water. Eleanor Roosevelt. So Steeped is described as the gentleman earlier mentioned, a part memoir, part travelogue, or as you say, choose your own adventure. It alternates between your time in India while detailing how you grew your company. So how did you decide on this unique structure of the book? And what do you think readers will take away from this unconventional blend of part personal and part business narrative?
Well, it began as just memoir, not even business memoir. So when I was in India originally over 20 years ago, I started writing some of the stories of my travels, interviewing people in their homes for the movement of Swati. And then what happened is after I started putting these stories together, I realized that maybe what would also be interesting is the business piece of it. So then I really kind of put it together that way. And, you know, the editor definitely thought it should be one or the other. And I said no. And then they also didn't know if some of the personal really worked with some of the business. You know, being in the boardroom, trying to pitch an idea to all men, that's business side, but then also telling a love story. So for some people, they didn't really see how it worked, but that's how I wanted to do it, and this is a creative project, so I did it my way.
But, you know, I think I wouldn't be wrong in saying this transformative journey began on your trip to Bangalore in India in 2002, where you discovered your love for chai. And as a single mother of twins, working full-time, Bti Chai originated from your idea to create a different chai. So what inspired you to do this personal passion into a business venture? Because you mentioned, we were speaking earlier, it wasn't an easy journey.
No, and I wouldn't recommend it. So if you really want to be an entrepreneur, you have to live it and sleep it. And I didn't have a choice because I also needed to support 2 children on my own. So it really just started as me making a recipe at home, giving it away as holiday gifts, and having neighbors drop by with empty jars, and they left $20 bills on the counter. So I thought this could just be a little side hustle to get some cash. But then more jars showed up, more people wanted more, and my 1 pot on the stove turned to be 2 and 3 and 4, and then I had to get a
In feminism, family, sustainability to the DNA of Bti Chai?
So I first learned that name on my first trip to India, And the Hare Krishnas will be the first to have introduced that to me in Kirtan. And I stumbled across a band of Hare Krishnas in Bangalore and ended up traveling with them, going to Kirtan, going to temples, and learning the devotional side of bhakti, the singing, the dancing, the praying. And at the same time, I was going into people's homes, interviewing them about Swadhyay. And they were telling me about their bhakti, which was about service. So I was learning these two sides of the coin of bhakti at the same time, and it really didn't come together until I had to think of a name, and it just came to me.
So you traveled through India. Was it your eat, pray, love moment, or was it something like that, or did you just decide?
There was some love, there was some praying, and there was some eating. So yeah.
Oh, okay. So hey, you could have had that film. I think you shopped the rights for it. But can you specify the moments or cultural aspects from your time in India that actually impacted your business philosophy? Because this cultural immersion is wonderful, but that at the end of it, someone's got to pay for it, right? So how did that evolve?
I talk about that in kind of the DNA of building the company, that learning about tea and that it's women who are plucking the leaves, that I didn't want to build a company on the back of women tea pluckers. And so learning about fair trade tea, learning about paying more to make sure that women have a livable wage, making sure that it was organic, making sure that it was sourced from the right areas that are sustainable. And then I wanted to bring in my bhakti into the company, not just in the name, around our giving program. So that was giving back to charitable organizations that empower and educate women and girls in India, in Peru, where we buy our ginger, and in Guatemala.
But, I'm sure there were challenges and there were opportunities when you created this company. But you started in a time.
You could say that.
You started a time in the 2000s in the US, and there was a spark of a tea movement, for lack of better words. It's when Starbucks was selling your chai lattes and all those other weird combinations that they sell out there. But what was it? How did you break into that market? Because your main competition was those inorganic, unorganic tea bags or the powder chais.
Well, and also the competition was Starbucks, because they owned Tazo Chai at the time. And so, you're going up against this big monster of a company and trying to educate people that ours had fresh pressed ginger. Ours didn't have preservatives. It wasn't laden with sugar. It was a hard sell, and it's still a hard sell. I mean, selling to Whole Foods, I was able to get us into all the Whole Foods in the country. But then buyers move, people leave, and you have to start all over again. So it's not like once you're in Target, you stay in Target, because your buyer left 6 months ago, and the new guy wants to have his name on what's on the shelf. And that was an interesting thing to learn about, that I thought grocery stores in the US curated products for customers. They don't. They charge tariffs to brands to get on shelf. So whoever has the most money can get their product on the shelf by providing the distributors with a cut, the merchandisers with a cut, promos with a cut. And so realizing how much of that system was really flawed, and it wasn't about just being organic, fair trade, and a good fresh ginger product. Sometimes it was, how much money are you going to give us? In the hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Did you look at Trader Joe's by any chance?
We've talked to Trader Joe's.
I love that store.
I know, I do too. And I talk in my book a little bit about the history of Whole Foods, the history of Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's really started to give connection to consumers that like to travel. So Joe wanted to bring in products and wanted to bring in stories. But it's a model based on co-packing. So you have very little margin. And we had a brewery, and we talked to Trader Joe's about doing a private label. But when we did the math over and over again, we would have lost money, because our ingredients are expensive and fair trade and organic, and we just couldn't have done it.
So what is it? When the buyer moves from Whole Foods to a Trader Joe's, do they take you with them, or it's starting from scratch?
Starting from scratch.
Wow.
And in the industry, in the natural foods industry, I write in the book about going to the first trade show, Natural Expo West. And the amount of money that's there, but also the amount of people, that there's so many changing hats at all times, that as soon as you have this great relationship with this buyer and they put you in, then they're gone. And like I said, the new guy wants to have his name on it. So you do start over.
This is characteristic not just for tea or grocery stop. It's for any other industry. I mean, in book buying, in other areas, it's those gatekeepers who are there, some of them not the most educated or the most responsible. But once they go, they don't leave a legacy. They don't want it. And the one coming about wants his own legacy. So you start from scratch. But let's talk. I mean, what you were talking is it's a very capital, beyond your cookie jar at home with the $5 and $20 and the new jars showing up. You needed money to scale up, right? Everyone needs money to scale up in an opportunity. So you look for I call it vulture capital, but venture capital. And tell us about your process of looking, and you said your first investor was an Indian. Indians are good people. So tell us about that and being a woman entrepreneur versus your other competitors.
Again, I was naive, and I think part of going into a business like this, you have to have some of that. And I thought I could just go into a bank. We were profitable. We had a strong P&L. We had POs from Whole Foods. We had accounts receivables that we could get loans on. But the banks asked me if I had a husband and if I had a dad who could co-sign a loan. And this was in 2010. So traditional banks wouldn't give me a loan. They wouldn't give me a line of credit. So then I went to angel investors, which a lot of times people call it family and friends. Well, I didn't have family or friends with money. So
sounds like my life.
So you really just try to network to anyone. And luckily, the University of Colorado they came to me and they asked if they could use my company as a model for some of their students. And so when the students presented, they invited me and I was serving some chai. And this adorable Indian man came up and tasted my chai and said, "Oh, wow, this is so good. I can't believe, how did you do this?" And then he said something that just stopped me in my tracks. He said, "How are you doing?" And when you're hustling, at this point, I've got like 4-year-old twins at home. I'm rushing them to school all the time. I'm starting a business. I'm also working a full-time job. My throat just constricted and I wanted to cry because someone was asking me how I was doing and I wasn't doing well. But I swallowed it down and I said, "It's really hard. I can't keep up with growth because I'm waiting for, this account to pay me and they're late, so I can't buy more tea." And he said, "Well, it sounds like you need an investment." Yeah, I do. So he invested $25,000, and his name is Praful, and I talk about him in the book, and he only now invests in women companies because he was in the pharmaceutical tech world. He made enough money to retire at 50, and he invested in a lot of tech companies while he invested in mine. And about 5 years later, when we did have a private equity firm come in finally, he made some money, and he said, "You're the first company that I've made money on. I lost money on all those men tech companies." So Praful, yeah. Praful really helped me get on that path. And because he was known and an investor, then other people trusted him. And, finding private equity, this is still the statistic to this day. Less than 3% of women in the world receive private equity money. And that's less than 2% for women of color. If you add a male co-founder, like say it's a husband and wife, that goes up 25%. So just a man helping a woman gets more private equity. So the fact that I was able to finally get an amazing firm to invest in Bhakti was finally great to have good cash flow, to grow, to have, hire more people. But they were a impact-focused private equity group. So they were looking not just at our profitability, but at our stakeholder bottom line. How were we hiring more women? How were we taking care of sustainability in the planet? How were we just running our business? And we were a certified B corporation at that time, and they were happy to write a check.
So since we're on that topic, let's talk about Geeta. give, inspire, take action. So Bhakti goes beyond a simple brewing tea company infusing ginger. It's a platform for social change. So as a company, it actively supports organizations. You mentioned empowering women and girls, environmental protection, all these causes. So how do you all give back and contribute, and how has that helped you as a company grow?
Well, from the very beginning, my background's in social policy, so I don't have an MBA. I studied how nonprofit work, and I studied how, we could really change things and make businesses more like nonprofits and make nonprofits stronger by doing some business models. So very early on, I decided that we could just build into our budget $500 a month for the Global Fund for Women. Now, because it was just built in, I never had an extra $500. If I did it at the end of the year, I never would have just had $2,500 or $5,000 to give away, but I kind of built it into the operating budget, and then the next year it was $1,000, and then the next year was $1,500. And so it was just kind of built into the DNA of what we were doing. And some years we couldn't give as much because we were losing so much money. So it just, it ebbed and flowed a little bit, but having that commitment was important to me and also to my employees.
So in your book, you talk about your admiration for a common admirer we have, Barack Obama. His intelligence, swagger, policies for the middle to low income Americans, as I mentioned to you. I also voted for him when I lived in the US. Tell the listeners of the origins of the Bti Chai, the inaugural Kenyan coffee blend, and also what is associated between Tagore India connection?
So, this was 2008, and I had been volunteering for the Obama campaign in our town in Boulder and just making sure that the students were registered to vote. And so when he won, for our country, it was such an amazing time. We were so proud of him. And we just, Bti Chai became Bti Chai. And we did a Kenyan coffee blend, so Kenyan coffee mixed with Bti Chai, and a picture of his face was on the label. And we were able to sell it into Whole Foods as a special edition product. And Whole Foods, because of this product, said, what we're going to do? We're going to rent big screen TVs in all of our stores because the inauguration was at noon in the middle of the day. And we're going to have an inauguration party in all of our stores. And we're going to be selling your product. So it was exciting to be a part of that. It was also fun. I still get letters from people that save the glass jar. They, keep their rice in it and their nuts. But then I got a call, 7 to 10 weeks later when we'd sold out and it was over. I guess there was still some on the shelf from, a very important guy at Whole Foods who did not like that and who said I should pull it from the shelves, that they don't want anything political. And this was just one guy's opinion. And I didn't back down. I said, no, I'm not forced anyone to buy it. And he's the president now, so it's not political. This is who the president is, and I'm fine if someone doesn't like Barack Obama and they don't want to buy Bti Chai.
Wonderful, very smart business move, I must say so. So this must be quite a special moment for you to be launching your book at JLF. You've been here last year as an attendee. You've been integrally involved with a couple of editions of JLF Boulder, right? So tell us, what does it feel like launching your book, the first Indian launch being at JLF?
It's so exciting because I've been here in the audience, writing parts of the book, wondering, will I get this published? Is this a story anyone cares about? What will the cover look like? Will it happen? Will I finish it? But also feeling so inspired by coming to these festivals and seeing young writers, launch their first memoir, launch their first novel. And this inspiration pushed me forward. Also the fact that I was going to turn 50 and I said I had to publish it by the time I was 50. So that was also really important. And now this year, just to be able to say, wow, I have an author's badge. Like, I did it. I got it out in the world.
JLF badge, even better than that.
Yeah, JLF author's badge. So to be able to get that out was a dream.
Wonderful. So take out that crystal ball and let's start doing some future gazing and planning. So you have a profitable company, you're selling products, you've been published, widely acclaimed, Amazon's giving you that title. What are the future plans? Are you looking to expand to other countries? Are you expanding new flavors? What's there? Another book?
Well,
Are you going to write me in it?
I would love to expand Bhakti into other countries because so many countries other than India still carry syrups and powders. They don't carry anything with black tea. But hopefully you'll read in the book some of the ups and downs where we almost had to file bankruptcy. We almost were not alive anymore. And so going through that process, I had to really start over. And it's a sad place to be when you build something. I launched 18 products throughout we did sparkling tea, we did vegan chai eggnog, we did chai ice cream, we did drinking chocolate, we did iced bottled ready to drinks. Like all these products are dead, they're gone, and they're in the graveyard. But that creativity of food innovation was so exciting to me, so I would love to do that again. We're back to 2 SKUs, the very 2 SKUs I started on my stove, and we're building back. COVID was tough for us, and I think, I'm looking for a new partner, a new refresh.
Wonderful. So at the end of the book, you share some recipes. So do you want to share the secret to making the best cup of chai ever?
Well, this was made with my chai. So it's with a half a cup of Bti Chai, which is full of fresh pressed ginger. So it's not just ginger or ginger ground. We press the ginger from Peru and make it into a juice. And so it's added into the black tea and the spices with a milk of your choice, heated with a little sprinkle of cardamom on the top.
Wonderful. But what spices do you put in, or is that ancient Chinese secret?
That's proprietary, but I'm sure you can imagine what it is.
Mm-hmm. Do you all have any questions, or shall I go on? Oh, the gentleman in the front.
Excellent session, Brooks. So my question is, as a natural, unprocessed, organic brand, how do you see consumer preferences changing? And how do you see the future playing out for your brand or brand similar to yours?
I think the future's really strong. Obviously, during COVID, it was hard because prices shot up. But I think the commitment's there. I think even at this festival saying we are in the middle of a climate crisis. This is an emergency. Like, we can't be spraying. We can't, be taking advantage of workers. Like, this is not the time to go back on the commitment of fair trade.
Any other questions? Yeah. The lady in the pink.
Hi, Brooks. That was a very straightforward session on your entrepreneurial journey. A very straightforward question. What is your favorite blend of tea?
That was my last question, but okay.
Yeah, I stole it from you.
The base of our tea is Assam. So if we're talking about my favorite tea, it's masala chai. But if it's a different kind of tea, I really like matcha. We did a iced sparkling tea matcha that we mixed with some mango puree. That was amazing. So I love tea of lots of different kinds.
So I'm going to end with, I know you have one question. Can you just ask her the question later? We're like 56 seconds away. So I like to end with my rapid fire questions. So I'm going to ask you 3 questions. Just answer. Top travel destination on your wish list?
South Africa.
Favorite Indian city?
Bombay. Or Pushkar.
I heard Bombay, but that's okay. Favorite tea blend you've created?
A mate mint.
The most unexpected ingredient you added to chai?
Well, you would know, but there's a little bit of curry powder.
Really? Curry in a hurry. One piece of advice you'd give aspiring entrepreneurs in the beverage industry?
Talk to as many people, ask as many questions. and stalk as many entrepreneurs as you can. That's what I did, and just finding the mentors really helps.
My last question was your favorite moderator. I already know the answer. It's me. But thank you very much. Congratulations. Very inspiring journey. And it's everyone's cup of tea to be an inspiring entrepreneur. So we should all do it. Congratulations. And books are being sold at the back. I have just got my lovely hard copy. Let me show it off. Brooke will be signing. Please buy books and support her. Yep. Thank you for coming.